Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, inspiration, and hope. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and it's Friday, or as we say here, Fri-yay, and that means that we have our special episode of Coexistence and Sustainability with pet psychic AMINAH joining us from California. Today, we're going to be talking about when and where to hug a tree. Interesting topic. So, pet psychic AMINAH is a professional keynote speaker. She's also a trainer. She's a consultant. She actually helps people communicate with their pets and understand more about what's going on with them. So please do reach out to her. We'll be sharing her information, but you can find her on LinkedIn and Facebook and bridgingworlds.us. Let's welcome her to the program. Hello, welcome.
Thank you so much for that intro. You just add a little bit more. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You know, I thought this was an interesting topic because there's a saying, people say, hug a tree, go hug a tree, but people really are hugging a tree, and trees really do bring some type of comfort. Before we get into that, you have an extensive background in working with not just dogs and cats, but wildlife. You've been in nature for decades. Tell us a little bit about how you combine the work that you do as a trainer and a speaker with the work you do in coexistence and sustainability.
Well, thank you. It's a wonderful, for me, I'm living in the same body all over, and all of these things are who I am. And if you are really close to what you're doing and your gifts and you're putting it out there, you know what I'm talking about who I am. I can have any kind of name, I can have any kind of field, I can have any kind of hobbies, but hopefully we all acknowledge and live within and grow ourselves every day. That's why I do this with Dr. Jacalyn, and we're trying to help everybody see it from another perspective. And my other perspective can be wildlife as opposed to my pets in my house, or my neighbor's dog that I can't wait to pet, or anything and everything in between. I'm very, very fortunate to not only have worked with wildlife all my life. I literally have a picture. One of these days I'll get it down of me when I was 11 holding a great horned owl. And was it my first? Absolutely. But I had wonderful, wonderful trainers and people in the industry of wildlife preservation from that young age. And luckily a mother who said, oh, this is what she likes to do. And all my other siblings got the same opportunities because my mom networked like nobody's business. And it's really neat to be able to copy that with her. If you see somebody in the grocery store and you just strike up a conversation, how wonderful is that for us who are communicators? We can laugh about, we both bought 4 boxes of cookies. It was a cookie day, or whatever it is for you. For me, it's having every day. My home life is 3 rescue cats, and each of them are complete individuals. And what I encourage you all to do is see the individual in your pets, in the people, in your coworkers. Your life will go so much better when you have balanced expectations. If you are having problems with your pets, cat, dog, whatever, going in the litter box, I know about me, we don't have shoes in the house. I don't want to be stepping on anything but tile or carpet. So these things you have to work out. And my encouragement is listen and then see what works for them, because it might not work for you.
Listening is key. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I really appreciate it. So, today we're going to get into our topic, which is about trees. I have so much respect for trees. As I've mentioned before, in the area that I live here in Florida, there are these huge, big old trees, and the roots have grown and permeated the ground, and the ground cracks, and people complain. I think, wow, that's amazing that the roots are so long and so deep. We do have a comment from Asif Khan. Hello, thanks for joining us again over on Facebook. So tell us about your experience when it comes to trees, that you've planted trees in your past. I know a lot of companies will even do charity donations, buy something, and then they'll plant a tree. Tell us about your experience.
Well, I'm really, really fortunate to have quite a breadth of experience. My parents, my father was a coach and had a master's degree in PE and physical education, basically is what it stands for. All of us, all five of us, played sports under my father. It would have been tennis, if you want to know. That was a passion of him and his five brothers and his one sister. So what do you do when you have limited resources is where I'm going. My father and his brothers and sister had very, very limited resources. So to get a tennis racket, maybe secondhand, and a tennis ball that wasn't flat was really great because the courts were free and most places and a lot of parks have them. So think about what your best day is, what your give back is. And I will guarantee you, when you do this work where you volunteer and you see people giving back, not because they were paid, because it's the right thing to do. And I promise you, your heart will be lighter. If you need plants like I need plants, I have said this in many episodes before. I am on a stair-stepped condo, so it's pretty high up here, and I have a wonderful ficus tree, and it loves to drop its leaves all of a sudden and do crazy things. But this tree has been with me since it was this big, and it is now this big. So what I'm saying is, give it a try. Whatever you see that makes your day better and also makes you a better person to be around, learn something new. I always encourage learn something new. And that's what we're doing on this channel and all the other channels. They're just magnificent. I have them on while I'm cooking in the kitchen or I'm going for a walk and the birds aren't singing. So it's really great to do all that kind of stuff. And that's what I encourage you to do. Find what your passion is and find out, is this the right time to do that? If it is all consuming, maybe it's a career change or something else. You love pets. My suggestion is, especially if you cannot have pets, go to the shelter and volunteer. Those pets desperately need to be loved and hugged and all of that. And you can work on your allergies at the same time.
A good one. I like it.
Well, it works. I tell you, it works.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. So when we think about the tree, how sturdy it is, how it weathers the storms, literally, how people come and go and complexes come and go, trees stand the test of time until people come and destroy them and take them out, or some type of climate change. So what are some of the benefits that you get from hugging a tree?
Well, I'll tell you, the best thing is trees never talk back. You can make up any story you want and you never talk back. I don't know about you guys, but and Dr. Jacalyn, you might have the same experience because, only child and I'm youngest child, and we were on our own, right? to do our thing, whatever that was. So I used to, I mean, this might sound funny, and maybe I've said it before, so you already got my quirky side. I used to tell God jokes when I was a little kid. I was a horrible joke teller at all. But again, when you're on your own, you get to make it up. What I love to see is educating and supporting, because there's nothing wrong to be afraid of something, anything. The dog next door because it bites its owner, much less it bites everybody else, or a mosquito, or a snake, or a lizard, or whatever you're afraid of in the animal nature place. That's okay. What you do with it and how you decide to go through the world, as opposed to let's throw rocks at it. Because I don't know if you remember, Dr. Jacalyn, but that was a real go-to in people of just saying, oh my gosh, I got to get a stick. I got to get a rock. I got to get something that I can defend myself with. Sometimes doing nothing and gently walking away, and you don't have to turn around. Hopefully you can kind of see where you came from and not trip on any rocks. But most animals you come up on are surprised because they're looking for food, or they're eating, or they have been abused. And it's not about you. Yes, bites are dangerous, and bites can be infectious, and all of these other things, but they also can be out of fear. And honestly, if I had to pick an emotion or a type of behavior, I would say fear is the worst for everybody. I mean, animal, vegetables talked, and people. I don't know about you, Dr. Jacalyn, but there's been a couple of times I've had a tragic or a scary moment or something, and I'm thinking, oh man, I am not going to make a good decision here. I remember my car accident was head on, and we were on a highway, and this person wasn't looking at me. They weren't looking at the road. They were looking somewhere else. And I'm thinking, dude, look at me, please, look at me. And I knew I can get a little farther left or right, but they're going to clip me no matter what, because it's a 2-lane highway. So when you're faced with those challenges, do you have any go-tos of take a deep breath, drink a glass of water, turn and walk away? I mean, you got a lot of live critters in your block of the world because of the iguanas, right? And the snakes everybody's let them go free.
The iguanas, definitely. And by the way, I've decided with an idea from a friend that I'm just going to do a selfish plug, that
Great.
one of our next books for Lady Ella
Ooh.
series is Lady Ella is going to meet the iguanas. They're going to have a town hall meeting. So that's
good. They'll need it. And you're the expert for that, to have added it in. Because think about it, everybody. You got these iguanas that, I can't even put my hands in the screen that when you add the tail. And they run hilariously. If you really want to comedy
do.
hour.
It's interesting. And by the way, we have another comment from someone watching on YouTube from Kim Bugwee Rogers, watching live from Uganda. Thank you for being with us today. We appreciate you.
Well, there's some real clever animals there too.
Yes. And it's interesting because we as humans, some of us take animals, which we shouldn't be doing, and bring them to another country. And so that's when it changes the whole natural system that's been in place. So as I mentioned, we do have iguanas here in this community, and someone brought them here at some point, and they've just been
there's tons of food for them to consume, except for nothing left for the wildlife that actually are supposed to be there. You've talked a lot about being near or on a golf course or all that. I see it in the news, and you got iguanas running around and eating golf balls. I'm sure they don't do well in the digestion area. Because can you imagine trying to get one out of an iguana? Hey, I'm trying to help. Just spit it up.
Yeah, it's crazy, because what happens is that we as humans come in and we continue building and developing, and then the animals get pushed from wherever it is that they were. So when you think about it, we're talking about hugging trees today. One of the reasons why I'm not I haven't yet gone and hugged a tree is because there are things living there. A
Yeah.
tree is the home to many of the creatures in nature. So when you do that, you are disrupting, whether it's temporarily for a minute or 5 minutes, you're disrupting that ecosystem that lives there. What are your thoughts?
Well, look before you hug. We'll come up with a jingle or something, because you're absolutely right. I've been in Florida for long stays, so I completely can visualize all the things you're talking about. But think about it. If you look at the palm trees, and God help us, they're in California, planted everywhere. We don't have palm trees natively necessarily in California, but they have all this really crazy bark that peels off, and there's plenty of room to hide under there. So respect the landscape and the people and the animals that actually live there. So
Right.
if you're going to go to, let's say you're going to go to Africa, just pick anywhere on that continent, you could run into a gorilla. They're really big. And he or she could be having a bad day, got a little thorn in his foot or something. It's the same with people. If you're going to go to the side of town where everybody smokes and you can't do that, or you're allergic to it, or you like breathing anything, why would you go there? Why would you go there? If you are going to go there, anywhere that has a situation, for example, my kids and I went to England for a summer. We brought long raincoats and umbrellas, 3 of them for all of us, because we knew that off and on it rains there. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful country, beautiful state. Please look at coexisting literally with the animals and the plants and the weather that you're dealing with. If we continue to say, well, I don't like it so hot and musty, and I'm wet all the time, even though I've never been in, and you want to get away from that. Oh, but I love living there, or whatever the reason is that you'd rather have that. If we decide to continue killing all the pests and having a fogger or an air conditioner that is out, and that moisture goes away, we start losing not only plants, but we lose the animals that should be there. And what we have found out by doing this for centuries and years is things fall apart. The soil gets worse, the plants die off, it's too much heat, not enough rain, etc., etc. There is a consequence to everything we do. Literally, if I'm going to walk across my kitchen, guess what? The consequence is I might bump into the sink or the refrigerator. I want you to get it. Why I'm using such weird analogies is because you might remember it better if we made it fun, and if I made it a different kind of definition than you thought the boring version of a dictionary would work. Do you, but don't do you if it hurts others. That's the shortest.
There it is. That's excellent. Have consideration. You're not existing just in a vacuum, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. Kirby would
So,
love you to be, but no. No.
So a question I have in reference to trees, are
Mhm.
there certain kinds of trees we should avoid, possibly ones that are poisonous or have spikes or?
Well, even you have a lot of palm trees. The last time I was there, it was 10 years ago. So, I mean, they're not native to Florida, right? The palms.
I think they are. I
Are
have to
they?
look it up, but I
Because
think they
that's what
are.
I couldn't decide. So in California, they're not. They're not. Go to Hawaii. That's a boat ride over there. And so palm trees, I don't know in your area, but in our state, people put in palm trees, and they could start off small, just little small or medium small. They get ginormous, and then they wonder why somebody put it in their yard or put it by their driveway, or pick a place that somebody is below it at some point. So your cars are there, there's nuts, there's bark, there's squirrels, there's all kinds of things falling off these trees. And it's not necessarily that they thrive. It would depend on our weather and how much rain we got, or was it around a golf course? Because golf courses are lots of greenery and lots of water. Can that tree take it? That's what should be looked at. So when you decide to landscape your home or move a wall on your house, expand or go shorter, make sure, please make sure to look at what damage are we doing about the trees. This is the total opposite of you cutting it down and or it grows back and then you got to cut it again and again and again. That tree is not getting any hugs from you. They're not getting the respect and love that they give us oxygen. They part of our breathing pattern. It is really that big a deal. If you want to keep breathing, you're going to need a few trees. So watch where you're planting them and do the best you can. If your house expands by 3 more bedrooms, most people don't plan that out very long. But if the tree is 5 years before that, well, the tree's established. And those are the things you have to consider. You can cut them out, not all trees. Nothing is all. But a lot of times you can get them cut out with the roots and see if they will survive. But that's a lot of work. So what? Plan ahead. Plan ahead for anything. But we're talking trees right now, is plan for what that tree needs. Sun, light, air. And if you're in a place that has a lot of critters, then realize they're going to be up and down and up and down and up and down. We love having the birds build their nests in the trees. If you love that and like to encourage it, so look at the background that I'm sitting with, that Dr. Jacalyn had put together for our show. It's fabulous. I absolutely adore it. First of all, I love green. And that tree, these trees have many, many branches, many, many choices for those animals to coexist and or a lot of birds be in the same place and a lot of great branches to put a nest. So I really want you to take the look of the animals that you're dealing with and then make a decision, hopefully, that benefits both of you to the best of your ability.
Excellent points. Thank you. I know when my father passed away, he died here in Florida in 2012, and the Homeowners Association agreed that we could plant a tree in his name. And the tree was a tiny thing, and it's pretty big now. And there's a plaque out there for him, which is amazing. But the point is that it takes care and responsibility. So if you're going to plant something, please do take care of it. Please feed it, please water it, etc. Now, I want to talk about something that we've discussed before, but I think it warrants being brought up again. If you have some type of pest, let's say they're attacking your trees or your plants, should you go out and buy that product that you can spray and kill and it goes into the air, and you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Starts with an R.
Yes.
And I would say, again, I know you probably know this, but stretch our watching public, MacGyver it. Do you remember this reference?
Yes.
So it used to be a TV show about this guy who had creative ideas about what he was a detective, I believe, right? Something like that. So what I love doing is taking something that is everyday. So let's say I have this eyeglass holder and I decide, well, I don't have the glasses anymore. They ran away or died or something. And I could do so many things with that. You could put little bitty flowers in, and they don't have to be real. They can be plastic, or that's what the dollar store are for, right? Or small, or any kind of decorations. Don't limit yourself to the fact that this is not a pot. So if I had this wonderful water bottle, and it's an actual real water bottle I use, but could you imagine having little daisies coming up here and you had it on your desk and it won't fall over very much because it's so heavy? Why not? If that's extra, or God forbid, the pretty outside plastic broke or died, I don't know why you would retire, except for that the water bottle actually leaks or is broken. Those things can be done differently. You don't have to, let's say you love men's shirts and you're a girl. And do you look cute in them? Who cares? Do you like them? Are they comfortable for you? That's a way that you can go. Things don't have to necessarily be just because somebody in the retail department said, "Oh, that's only a blouse. You can't make it anything else." And my blouse, this is about as loud as I get. And again, it was a gift, but it has such a wide bottom. I could add a whole skirt material, and this would be a dress. I want everybody to think about, don't limit yourself. Creativity can come in words, in poem, so in the written word, the spoken word, or so many other things. If your love is for flowers, great. If you're like me and you have a little plot of dirt, and so you have a lot of plants on the stairway getting to my front door, it can happen. You can do it another way. Am I going to say there's no wrong? Well, there are. You probably shouldn't plant a planter in the middle of the road or something like that. Your neighbors probably won't like you, nor will the drivers who aren't paying attention enough to see the planter before they hit it. So think about what you're willing to do and what you're interested in doing. And then what I always tell you, and then go to the dollar store and see if you see a cheapy pot or a vase or whatever. The other day, Dr. Jacalyn, I went actually to the dollar store. I haven't been in a while, believe it or not. And I got little frames. And because one of them that I got is glass and has a frame. Well, it's such a fine top piece that keeps the picture in. I broke it. And I'm looking at it going, how much super glue can I use?
I want to go back to something that you said before, because a couple of years ago, you were talking about fresh flowers. It sounds like you may have changed your point of view, because I used to get fresh flowers and I stopped getting them because you had talked about the fact that once you cut them, that's the end of a life. Do you still feel the same?
Well, I have a great deal of potted plants, so I still lean towards live. But I do see that cut flowers are so heartwarming for so many people that get them. I'm not necessarily a huge fan. I am very fortunate to have two wonderful women in my life, my daughter, and some of you, I probably have never shared this. I have a part-time caregiver because of the loss of the use of my hands for a lot of day-to-day things like making a sandwich and making a dinner. I don't do any of that anymore. So what I'm saying is, do what you can and find out if it causes any harm. So what my caregiver and my daughter came up with is dried flowers, because I've talked about, I have tons of plants and flowers on my stairway out to go out the front door. So that is a really great resource of petals. And I'm teaching myself, reading the books, all of that type of stuff on how to do that. Because petals on flowers, wow, depending on the petal and the leaf, they're really picky. they wither and they get crinkled, and yeah, this early stage is learning, and I encourage everybody, try something new. But what I have is all these photo albums that I've disseminated those photos out to the people that they either were of or they meant something to them. So I'm sending those to my sisters and to my daughters and making sure they have that. So I have all these albums now. What do? What I love is I love learning new things. I love learning new things. And so I am reading all these books and I'm looking at all these petals and figuring out the flowers, like a pansy. Yeah, they don't dry very well. Somebody tell me a new technique and I'll try it. But they're so neat, these flowers. But they're so paper thin. You get them wet and they just wrinkle all up. So again, Maybe some you take pictures of, maybe some you put in albums. Look at what you're working with. Look at what your challenge is. And always resources online. Not only our show, we have Dr. Jacalyn has an entire plethora of fabulous people talking about different topics. And then you have YouTube where there's other people, and you will find somebody who's drying their own flowers. I still haven't done that. So tell myself to do that, to look at what else is out there. I talk about that, we get the tower for beads and designer things. Well, I took one of those and I literally have one. Now I cracked the top so you can see I taped it, but these are vitamins that I take all day. I put them in these little things that were meant for whatever. You could put screws or nails would have to be awfully small. Don't catch yourself up and say, I don't have the money, or I'd really like to do that. If this helps your mental health, if this gives you joy and no one got hurt and you're not blowing smoke in anybody's face or anything like that, find your way to do those positive things. Your life will be better. Your outlook will be better when we do things we love. And what I love doing is being able to share the flowers with family and friends, and working on cards this year. That is something that I'm working on. So I encourage you to do the same. Find something that's easy for you to do. And like for me, I'm working on leaves currently, because leaves are really hard to get flat if I don't put them in glass right away, but they won't dry in the glass. Maybe that's a good thing. So I'm finding that happy medium. That's what I encourage you to do. Coexist is really, really our mantra, I think, on the whole channel, is if it does damage to you or the environment, then rethink what you're doing. Most of the flowers I'm getting are getting right out of my own potted flowers and my own potted plants, because I have that many. And or I will see a broken branch and it's a leaf I haven't worked with, or a branch I haven't worked with. It's already broken, so I do go get that. There are a lot of wonderful places I looked up recently that actually have petals already dried for you, if you want to do them in a scrapbook or a frame or something like that. There's no end to being creative, whatever that is. Don't let anybody tell you, nope, that's silly, don't do that. And you say, well, thank you. It might be silly for you, but I'm living my third childhood, whatever you want to call it. And I don't compare myself to the great artists that are in my family. My uncle and my mother made a living doing their art. And what I know about it now is that's really hard to do, no matter how good you are. So don't worry about that, especially if you don't have to worry about the cost as far as making a living.
Brilliant. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So just to clarify, you are not specifically advocating cutting plants, cutting flowers, but if you do receive cut flowers,
Right.
Beautiful, acknowledge it, or if you like to get them once in a while.
Right. And if they're your own, like mine, who cares how many I cut? Because I'm just looking for the next plant.
Right.
I don't want my plants to die? Absolutely, I don't want to die. But pansies, I have the little ones right now, not the big pansies, but they are the sweetest, happiest plants. I go by them and they're just smiling. They just, hi, how are you? You know,
Buy me.
Because you have to leave our front door to go down a stairway to get to like the driveway and the cars. Mm-hmm. So all of that has plants, all 20 steps. I don't know. I've never counted the steps. I'll have to count the steps. So there are petals and flowers you can clip, and you can decide what your modality is, or you're going to. I actually go and buy hairspray on a lot of them, and trying to get that shape, a little bit more support, especially the pansies. They're a lot. And some of the stems. And sometimes you're going to cut off the stem and add it back into whatever piece you're doing. Remember, it's you and the flowers, or it's you and the drawing, or it's you and whatever, marbles or rocks. What I love is my other addiction, because this show is my first one. I absolutely love being here, and I love talking to everybody and sharing all this, making your day better and your way of loving your pets better. And what's really neat is you can try the petals, you can try all kinds of different things, and there's nobody to judge you. If you fail at it, guess what? You try again. And what I was really fortunate is my daughter and my caregiver bought me a whole kit, which I never had. I literally would take the canned goods out of my cupboard to smash off my flowers when I started this about 15 or more years ago. So don't worry about how or what it is. Just do you. Because who we are is wonderful. I'm the one who magnetized myself to the shy person or somebody who's just a little quirky and different, because I find them fascinating and their lives are fascinating. And I hope you find that too. And maybe it's the pets that you love getting, the one that has the medical issues. If you're one of those people that can help a pet that normally would not get adopted, what a joyful life you must have. So I celebrate all of you.
Oh, that was so sweet. Thank you.
And heartfelt.
It was definitely heartfelt. I want to talk for a few minutes about the work that you do, because we don't talk about it on every show, but you help people in a number of ways.
Mhm.
And for people who own pets, they want to understand, why is my pet acting like this? Or for people who have pets that seem to not be doing well, you are there to guide people through this. And for people who've lost their pets, you're there to guide them as well. Tell us more.
I'm very fortunate to have a lifetime since I was a child. I don't know any other way to explain it. It's forever, literally, that I hear what pets are saying. When I was a kid, I used to answer them because I figure if I can hear you, I must be part of the conversation. Again, I was a kid. What I didn't care for, because being an empath means I can feel feelings, animal and or people. Luckily, I can't hear any people's thoughts. I just hear the animal's thoughts. Thank goodness. I might have to be institutionalized for that one. But I can feel somebody who comes up to me full of anger, full of joy, full any of those really high energy things. Oh, those are easy. Those are easy to see that and feel it. And all of that wonderful. It's like somebody who smiles all the time or giggles all the time, and they really are in joy in their heart. So I feel all of that. That's what my empathy is translated into, understanding what people are feeling. The same with animals. Animals are really great at masking their pain, masking their injuries, because in their world, if they didn't have your people, they would be fighting for food and housing and a mate and maybe not making it to their second birthday. So it's really important that their ears are in really good shape and their legs can run them away, but they also understand what's going on around them. And what I help people do is clear that conversation. I'm really fortunate to have clients all over the world, literally, because distance isn't a problem. We can get on a phone. We can get on a video if that's necessary. It's not for me. I find it even easier not to see your face. I usually want to see the pet, but that's not necessary because their tail tells me something, but I usually can feel that that's going on anyway. It's a wonderful, wonderful tool, but I didn't do anything about it outside of my own family. And I met my core, my kids and their dad and all that they were the ones who knew. And any close girlfriends, friends that I worked with. And then I moved back to the Bay Area after being gone for a number of years. And I found a group of people, they go under a banner called church. So they are all, not all, but very great deal of them have psychic abilities. on some plane. My last crazy gift is I talk to dead animals, but I talk to dead people too. And I interpret it this way, that it's probably why I held no fear about dying or death. I would miss my pets. I will miss my family. I miss my parents. All of those things are still happening for me. But I have a broader understanding, having spoken to people that have passed away many, 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 many times now, having doing this for so long. When I was a kid, I just thought everybody heard the dog talking. And then I found out really quick, yeah, everybody's looking at me funny. I don't know about you, but I didn't want to be a pre-teenager that everybody thought I was strange. I got enough going for me. So I didn't say anything about it. My family's all quite aware of it now. And they were like, kind of fits in with her and her ways. So I want to encourage anybody who's listening and everybody who's listening. If you're trying out for the football team for the first time, or you want to be a ballerina or an artist or a psychic, then find the people that can walk you through it in a safe place, healthy, because you don't want to learn to play football and you're actually holding a Frisbee. That would, as far as having the wrong tools, having the wrong insight, find the right coach, find the right teacher. That's what I hope for all of you.
Thank you very much for your words of encouragement and for sharing with our audience how you can assist them. It's been another fabulous episode. I never know what we're going to discuss, which is great because we have no script. So I just want to welcome our new followers on Instagram. We're currently streaming on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and then our shows are uploaded to Roku, which is very exciting. So wherever you are, we have our audio platform as well. We're on all the major audio platforms. Please do follow us, subscribe, just look for USA Global TV and Radio. And of course, follow AMINAH on LinkedIn, as well as Facebook and her website, bridgingworld.us. That's all we have for today. So happy weekend. I hope you enjoy yourself. And thank you to everyone who's out there watching and listening. We really appreciate it.
Don't hug any of the lizards. They'll stay. They're really sharp too if you're gonna hug, and that tail will whack you any day.
They will hit you. I'm sure it will not be good. So
absolutely.
And we have a thank you from our new friends. They're on YouTube. Thank you, AMINAH.
Thank you, Kim. That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Okay, bye for now. We'll see you again soon.